Today is a very fun and special episode. On the last day of December, we are dropping and sharing 3 short, terrific, and spooky tales that I had the pleasure of voicing from a horror fiction podcast called Long Winter Nights. P.S. For those of y'all listening, this story is a work of horror fiction and may be triggering for some listeners. For a full list of content warnings, please visit longwinternights.com. Okay, let's get into it.
On the 7th of these long winter nights, a couple is targeted by hungry, speechless creatures. This story is called The Visitors.
The man with no head appears outside our second-floor bedroom window on a Tuesday night not long before Christmas. Close enough that the lights on our neighbor's balcony railing reflect off the blood pooling where his neck used to be, where something scooped the neck and head right off the body like an inverse ice cream cone. The body is dressed in a well-fitted suit, clean, except for the blood, and he just floats there at first. My wife screams and covers herself even though he can't possibly see her without a head, without eyes. "What do you want?" I call out to him, because what else am I supposed to do? Even though there are no ears to hear and no mouth to tell me, he doesn't move at first, but then starts tapping the glass with his bloody stump of a no torso, no neck situation. Thrump, 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 in perfect rhythm. Thrump, 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 blood splattering all over the window. "Hey, I'm calling 911, says my wife. I nod and go to the window, opening it just enough to fit my hand through and kind of push him away. Just to see, you know? Just to see if he stops, and he pauses for a moment and then rams into the window harder. I see my neighbor come out onto the balcony to see what all the fuss is about and stop in shock. First at the headless man hovering and thrumping my window, and then his gaze moves beyond that to down the street, where I now see a horde of other floating, headless men moving towards our apartment building. Before long, there are 100 or more headless, floating men pounding at the building. Their clothes clean and ironed and unremarkable except for the blood. Bathrobes and UPS uniforms and Santa suits, all their necks bloody and scooped out, thrumping and pounding and ramming into the walls just around our apartment. Just ours. It doesn't take long for the whole building to be awake, and the cops come while my wife and I cower in the corner of the living room where the sound is the most muffled, where we can only see 1 or 2 headless men floating by the kitchen window. The cops question us as if we did something to attract all these men, these bodies, as if we splattered the building with blood and cracked the windows in our bedroom. "We don't recognize them. How could we?" My wife and I say to the police and the manager and our neighbors. "They have no faces." "They're only going after your apartment. Why only you?" they ask us. Curiosity turns into annoyance, turns into accusations as the men continue to gather that night and over the next day or two, digging holes in the building with their shoulders, knocking down a shade tree with the sheer heft of them all, breaking through our kitchen window until a group of 4 are bouncing around our breakfast nook and smearing the freshly painted walls with their ooze. The manager kicks us out due to breach of lease, though we don't know what that means. And we don't have time to ask because the neighbors are already helping create a pile of our stuff on the sidewalk while I panic call moving companies. We're homeless before Christmas arrives, and we don't get our deposit back due to the cleanup. The moment we leave the apartment, the headless men stop pounding all at once. Most of them even bloodier and stumpier than before. At least one body reduced to only a collarbone whittled to a sharp point. And as we drive away, they fall into a pile around the building. We heard it took a couple of days to remove them all, and our neighbors and manager were stranded inside. We spent Christmas Eve on a friend's couch. Every little thump, every creak and bump in the house making us rattle down to our bones.
Tonight's door closes, but tomorrow we open another. On the 11th of these long winter nights, a mysterious statue appears on a street corner, stirring the hunger of a small town. This story is called Ham.
A giant statue of a Christmas ham appeared overnight at the corner of Durham Ave and Millbury Streets. It was something like 8 feet tall, with giant blue eyes, a wide mouth with a tongue sticking out as if licking itself. A large spoon of brown sugar in one hand, a bottle of maple syrup in the other, poised at its own face. Red, glistening ham skin, white sneakers, a little Santa hat on its head, an American flag draped down its ham back. No one claimed ownership of the thing, but it was blamed first on the Honey Ham Cafe, even though they were always busy this time of year with pre-orders and didn't need this kind of publicity, if you could call it that. The owner put up a sign in their window to brush off questions. "Please stop asking," it read. "It's not mine. It's not mine." All the kids wanted to do when they saw it was touch it, a local woman complained to the newspaper and anyone who wanted to hear. "It's unsettling, the self-smothering going on." "We have to personify meat products and make them cute," said a young teacher, "in order to forget where they come from." And the comments and suspicions piled up. "It gave the street some personality." "Satan must have put it there during the night." "Don't look too long into its eyes or you'll turn into a ham yourself." "I hate it." "I love it. I would destroy it if I could figure out how." "It's a symbol of racism in this country." "It's a symbol of freedom." "It's making fun of the vegetarians." "It's trying to replace Santa Claus." "It's glorifying cannibalism." A week after its appearance, the town got reports of other sightings of new Christmas ham statues popping up in the general region. There were 12 new statues reported by the time the town called a meeting, and the local librarian stood up and said, "Last night, when I tried eating some ham, it screamed at me when I bit into it. It screamed and screamed and screamed and then bit me right back." And then she pulled down a bandage on her face to show them all, and as she talked, the bite bled down her chin. "I saw it move the other day," said the barber. "It lifted that spoon up to its lips and then took a hunk of meat out of its own lip. I swear it, I saw it, I saw it." "Its eyes follow me when I walk past," said a teenage girl. "Me too," said an old woman. "And me," said the baker. "You can tell how hungry it is," they said. "Can't you see? Can't you smell it? It's in the air." And that's all it took for the town to head out of the meeting hall and march as one grumbling, angry stomach of a creature down the street and curl itself around the statue. The hardware store owner opened up shop and handed out the mallets and the drills and the couple of chainsaws he kept in the back. And soon the statue was nothing but rubble on the ground, which was also soon gone, picked over for souvenirs, each citizen taking a piece home, now that they could feel in control again, now that it wasn't staring at them with those bright blue eyes, blue, like the part of the iceberg you can't see, urging them to take a bite out of something. But what was it? What was it? What was it?
Tonight's door closes, but tomorrow we open another. on the 22nd of these long winter nights. Trying to communicate with spirits creates a veil between the living. This story is called Would You Rather I Be Dead?
Every night before bed, Dad dragged us around the house to do final checks of the recorders and the night vision cameras. Make sure batteries are at full, make sure they have optimal positioning, make sure plugs are firmly in the wall so that nothing can fall out or off or cockeyed because of some vibrations from a passing truck. There must be hours of footage, us waving our arms in the dark of the living room to check focus and angle and night vision efficacy. Our skin green and glowing on the monitor, our voices lamenting, "This is so stupid, ghosts aren't real." We stayed in our rooms at night, bathrooms or sneaking snacks be damned. One night, Chrissy had the stomach flu and was up and down to the bathroom, and Dad spent the morning yelling about the ruined footage, how he couldn't tell her vomiting sounds from the groans of phantoms. And when I laughed at that, he sent me to my room and made me review footage from the week before. Boo duty, we called it privately. Every second of tape, please. Take notes on every creak of the floorboards, every street noise, every dust particle that wriggled across the screen. At night, I'd sneak over to a recorder when Dad was asleep and I'd whisper into it. "I like peas. Ooh, I'm a ghost. The color of the bathroom walls is just atrocious. Am I dead?" I'd ask. "Would you rather I be dead?" "I hate you," I said once. And then that was all I said. "I hate you. I hate you." Dad never mentioned the whispers, but boo duty came around more often as I got older. We grew up. We moved out. We went to college. We lived in many non-haunted houses. We got married. We fixed creaking floorboards with lubricants and powders rather than rituals and spy gear. Dad gifted us with night vision cameras and audio recorders, which we packed away in the closet unopened. After his retirement, Dad only slept during the day, staying up through the night to ask questions of the ghost. He'd investigate our houses when staying for the holidays, and we would ask him to stop, that we didn't want to know. It was our right not to know if our houses were haunted. And I'd still find a recorder secretly placed in the bowl of fruit in my kitchen or by the keys in the entryway of Chrissy's house. On those visits, I would whisper into the hidden recorder when I woke up in the night, anxious and buzzing with thoughts, avoiding the creakiest parts of the house I could never get to quiet down. I'd whisper things about my life, worries at work, feelings of inadequacy, moments of failure and triumph. "I think my marriage might be ending," I whispered one Christmas after a long day of keeping up appearances. I stayed with him after the divorce, and the cameras and recorders were going all day because ghosts don't care what time it is. It was a Saturday afternoon during that period when he screamed for me to come to his office and showed me a video from 2 nights prior. In the green-tinted night vision footage, a glass of water seemed to move 2 inches across the dining room table on its own. "You see," he said, "we did it. That is a ghost moving the water glass. We have proof we did it." When he died, I put the house up for sale. It sold quickly to a young couple, a strange image of my old life, a shadow of a failure. I took all the cameras down except for one. The night before I moved out, I turned it on one more time, angling towards a water glass on the dining table, and I whispered into the microphone, "This is your last chance. Show me what you got."
That is just 3 of the many delicious stories that Long Winter Nights has for y'all. Long Winter Nights was co-created and produced by Matt Hill, Chelsea Sutton, and Lisa Sinead Dring. Listen to all other episodes wherever you listen, and follow them on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and check them out at longwinternights.com. Peace, y'all.